Did you know that sourdough bread has been made the same way for thousands of years? In this factory, centuries-old traditions meet cutting-edge technology to create the perfect loaf. Inside, flour, water, and salt combine with wild yeast to form a living culture that drives the rise of every dough. But how exactly does this simple mixture turn into the tangy, chewy bread we love? And what role do machines play in this ancient craft? Stay with us, because we're about to uncover the secrets of sourdough bread making that you won't believe. Sourdough bread, with its rich, tangy flavor and chewy texture, is a product that connects modern food production with ancient traditions. The journey of sourdough bread begins in the heart of a factory, where centuries-old methods blend seamlessly with cutting-edge machinery to craft the loaves we enjoy today. But before we dive into the processes and machines that make it all happen, it's essential to understand the history, raw materials, and intricacies behind this beloved bread. Sourdough has been around for over 5,000 years, with its origins traced back to ancient civilizations in Egypt. Historians believe that sourdough was one of the earliest methods of leavening bread, where natural wild yeast in the environment would ferment flour and water to create the necessary bubbles to raise the dough. Fast forward to the modern day, and sourdough is experiencing a renaissance, fueled by the global demand for artisanal natural products. As of recent estimates, the global sourdough bread market is valued at over several $billion annually, with production steadily increasing to meet consumer demand. The process begins with the raw materials: flour, water, and salt. Flour, the key ingredient, is typically sourced from wheat, which is grown in regions with fertile soil and favorable climates. The United States, Russia, and China are some of the largest producers of wheat, with the U.S. alone producing approximately 50 million metric tons of wheat annually. Once harvested, the wheat is sent to mills where it is ground into flour. In sourdough production, whole wheat flour, or a blend of refined and whole wheat flour, is often used for its texture and flavor, though variations in recipes may require different types of flour. The flour is transported to the factory in large quantities, often arriving in bulk via trucks or trains. There, it is stored in large silos, ready for the next stage of production. Water, sourced from local facilities, is filtered to ensure purity and consistency, as water quality plays a critical role in fermentation. Salt, typically mined from salt beds or extracted from seawater, is also added in precise quantities to enhance the flavor of the bread. The first step in the production process is creating the sourdough starter, the heart of the sourdough process. Unlike conventional bread that uses commercial yeast, sourdough relies on a symbiotic culture of wild yeast and lactic acid bacteria. These microbes are naturally present in the flour, the air, and the environment. To create a starter, a mixture of flour and water is left to ferment, capturing wild yeast and bacteria. This process takes anywhere from 5 to 7 days, during which the starter matures, developing the characteristic tang and flavor of sourdough bread. While some factories continue the traditional method of hand feeding and nurturing the starter, many modern factories have automated this process. Large stainless steel fermentation tanks are used to create the starter in a controlled environment. These tanks maintain the perfect temperature and humidity for yeast activity, allowing the starter to develop consistently. Machines inject air and temperature controls to keep the mixture at just the right level of fermentation, ensuring that every batch of sourdough bread begins with the same base culture. Once the starter is ready, the dough-making process begins. Here, the raw ingredients are measured and combined with precision. Most factories use automated ingredient dosing machines to ensure that the right quantities of flour, water, salt, and starter are added to the mixer. These machines use advanced sensors, scales, and hoppers to weigh the ingredients accurately and ensure consistency across large production batches. This automation reduces human error and speeds up the process, making it more efficient. The dough is then transferred to an industrial dough mixer, where it is kneaded and blended into a smooth, elastic consistency. The mixer's rotating blades or paddles work tirelessly, folding the dough repeatedly to activate the gluten. The gluten development is crucial for the bread's structure and texture. Modern mixers are highly efficient, capable of mixing large batches of dough at a time. and they allow for precise control over mixing speed and time. These factors ensure that the dough's elasticity and moisture content are just right. After mixing, the dough is portioned into specific weights for shaping. This is where another automated machine comes into play, the dough divider. This machine ensures that each piece of dough is consistent in size, which is critical for uniform baking. From here, the dough is shaped into loaves using an automatic bread forming machine. Depending on the factory, this machine can produce round or rectangular loaves, or even other artisanal shapes like baguettes. For more complex shapes or higher-end products, manual labor might still be involved, but the majority of the shaping process is handled by these machines. Now, the dough is ready for proofing, a crucial step where the dough is allowed to rise and develop its texture. In modern factories, proofing often takes place in large, temperature-controlled proofing chambers. These chambers control the temperature, humidity, and airflow to create the ideal environment for fermentation. The dough rises slowly, allowing the wild yeast and bacteria to work their magic, breaking down the starches and creating carbon dioxide that gives the bread its airy structure. This stage can take several hours, depending on the desired final texture of the bread. Once the dough has proofed, it's time for baking. Sourdough bread is baked in industrial ovens that are capable of handling multiple loaves at once. These ovens use a combination of heat, airflow, and steam to create the perfect crust and texture. Some factories use deck ovens, where the loaves sit on large, heated stone or metal decks, while others may use convection ovens that circulate hot air evenly around the dough. Steam is introduced into the oven to create a moist environment that helps form a crispy, golden crust. The baking process typically lasts anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes, depending on the size of the loaves and the specific temperature settings. After baking, the loaves are moved to cooling tunnels. These tunnels use fans and temperature-controlled environments to cool the bread quickly and evenly, preventing moisture from being trapped inside the loaf. Cooling is essential, as it helps set the bread's texture and prevents it from becoming soggy or overly moist. The loaves are gently conveyed through the cooling tunnels on belts, ensuring they are not disturbed as they cool. The final step in the sourdough bread production process is packaging. Here, automated machines handle the packaging, sealing the loaves in plastic or paper bags that protect them during transit. In larger factories, machines can automatically weigh the loaves, place them in packaging, and apply labels that include product information, expiration dates, and branding. The packaging ensures that the bread stays fresh and protected as it makes its way to grocery stores, restaurants, or consumers' homes. The automation in sourdough production has made the process faster and more consistent, allowing factories to meet the growing demand for artisanal bread. However, this doesn't mean the art of sourdough has been lost. Many high-end bakeries and boutique factories continue to use traditional methods alongside modern technology, blending the best of both worlds to produce exceptional loaves that maintain the depth of flavor and texture that sourdough is known for. Despite the automation, the process still relies heavily on craftsmanship and attention to detail, ensuring that every loaf that comes out of the oven has the perfect balance of tang, chewiness, and crust. Globally, sourdough bread remains a staple in many cultures, with consumption steadily increasing as consumers seek out products that are natural, artisanal, and steeped in tradition. The production of sourdough bread, which once relied on small-scale, local bakeries, has evolved into a global industry that produces millions of loaves annually. In fact, some factories can produce over 5 million loaves of sourdough bread every month, shipped worldwide to satisfy a growing market that's eager to experience the taste of tradition in every bite. The demand for quality sourdough, alongside evolving production methods, is a testament to the enduring appeal of this ancient bread-making process. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the fascinating world of sourdough bread production. From the ancient origins of this iconic loaf to the modern-day machinery that brings it to life, it's amazing to see how far we've come in crafting such a delicious and timeless product. If you're hungry for more and want to continue exploring the incredible processes behind the foods we love, make sure to check out our other videos on food production. We've got plenty more content coming your way. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps us out. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe so you never miss out on our next food adventure. We'd also love to hear from you in the comments. What's your favorite bread? Or do you have any suggestions for other food-making processes you'd like to see us explore next? Let us know, and we'll keep bringing you the inside scoop. Thanks again for being part of our community, and we'll see you in the next video.